Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you carving out some time in what I know is a busy week. I want to start with a quick question, and I want you to be honest with yourself. So, how many of you have thought about posting on social media? You've thought about how it should be part of your strategy. Maybe even you've gotten to the part that you've opened up the app, whichever social platform you're looking at, and then you stare at the blank screen for a few minutes, and then you're like, you know what, I'll do this later. So if that sounds familiar, you're in good company. I hear this from advisors all the time. And I want you to know it's not a you problem, it's a structure problem. And so that's exactly what we're going to work on fixing today. And sorry, before I keep going, if you do have any questions at any point, just put it in the Q&A at the bottom, and then I'll save room at the end so we can go over any questions you have at that point. So for those that don't know me or haven't met me yet, I'm Emily Reed. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Hey Advisor. So before starting Hey Advisor, I spent many years working as a financial advisor and then closely working with advisors across Canada. So one of the things I noticed over and over again was that advisors who were growing their businesses fastest weren't always necessarily doing more like advertising or spending more on marketing. They were just showing up consistently in the spaces where their clients already were. So social media is one of those spaces, and the advisors who figure out a simple, repeatable way to use it well without spending hours on it do see a real difference in how their business grows over time, and that's what I want to help you with today. So here's what we're going to cover today. I want to flag this right up front so you kind of have expectations of how the next 20 minutes are going to go. We're going to start with why social media actually matters for your business, and I mean specifically in terms of the referral behavior, retention, and your reputation. Then we're going to look at 3 platforms that we're going to focus on today and figure out, so you can start to figure out which ones work the best for you and your goals. Then after that, we're going to get into what to actually post. That's where a lot of people get stuck. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time there. And then we're going to finish off with a simple routine you can start doing this week without adding a lot more to your plate. So the goal is that you leave with a clear idea of what to do next. So before we get into the how, I want to make a case for why. Like, why is this important? Because I think there's a lot of noise around this topic, specifically about social media for an advisory business. It's not about going viral. That's not the goal. You're not trying to get thousands of followers. And it's definitely not about trying to compete with those like influencers who are out there posting 5 times a day. So for an advisory practice, social media does something much more useful and more quieter. It helps the right people find you and get a feel for who you are. It's going to help you stay visible between meetings. So whether that's meetings with prospects or your existing clients, they can follow along and learn from your post. That's what's important. It's going to help reinforce planning conversations you have or open up the door for new ones. And then it's going to reinforce your credibility over time. So when someone can see that you're consistently posting relevant content that they can learn from, you become a credible source to them because you're not selling. At the end of the day, you're just trying to educate. So let me show you exactly how that works. This is a number, I think, that just puts it all into perspective. So according to a 2025 Wealth Tender study, 96% of people referred to an advisor will research them online before they ever contact them. So 96%, that's essentially everyone that's referred to you. And here's what that really means. It's huge. The decision to work with you isn't being made in your first meeting or first interaction anymore. It's being made before the meeting. So while you're nowhere in the room, you're not connected with that person yet. So by the time someone actually like sends you an email or picks up the phone and calls you, they've already looked you up, they've formed an impression, and they've decided if you're worth calling. The conversation, again, it isn't the start of the process, it's a result of it. So here's the part that I think is really important because it's actually the good news part of it. Almost everything about the referral is out of your hands. You can't control who your clients talk to, or like even COIs, like what they say about you or when. But this is the one piece that when someone finds you and what they find online when they search your name, that's completely within your control. It's the one part of the reputation you get to decide on in advance, and a lot of advisors are leaving it blank. So the real question isn't should I be on social media? It's when nearly all my referrals look me up, what do I want them to find? Because they're going to look either way, and the only thing you get to choose is what's waiting for them when they search your name. The stat kind of connects into this part of really how advisors are still growing their business. So the most successful advisors in Canada are still building their business the same way they always have, and that's referrals from clients and referrals from your COIs, so accountants, lawyers, brokers, people who know you and trust you enough to put their own reputation behind an introduction. That hasn't changed, and I don't know if that will ever change. So we're definitely not today suggesting that social media should be your business building mechanism. It's still a referral strategy. But again, what's changed is the path between what referrals do when they first hear about you to when they have that first meeting. And when someone gets your name today, their next move, again, is to open up their phone, their computer, and look you up online. That digital impression and what they find in that first few minutes is now part of your referral process, whether you've thought about it that way or not. So here's the way I like to picture it. You've got one side, which is your existing clients. They trust you completely. They refer their friends, their colleagues, because they know you and they know how much you care. That trust was built over time, right? Through real conversations and real results. And it's a huge, valuable part of your business. On the other side, you have everyone else. And to everyone else, you're a stranger. You're a name on a business card, a LinkedIn profile they've never met. It doesn't matter how good you are with your clients if the people who haven't met you yet have no way to sense it. So that space in between, that's the trust gap. And in today's world, trust is trust is being built before the first call ever happens. So content is how you close that gap. So when someone sees your name attached to something really helpful or a clear explanation, something really timely, it's something that makes them start to think that's exactly what I needed to hear. And they start to trust you before they've even met you. So by the time they've booked that first call, they feel like they already know you, and that meeting it'll start warmer. The questions will be better and the decisions will even come easier. And so just thinking about that gap and how you're going to fill it with content is going to really help your business overall. So if they're going to look you up, definitely a website's an important thing to have, but then we go to social as the next. So the next question is, where are they going to look? And the good news is they're already on the platforms you want to be on. So these are the Canadian user numbers for the three platforms we're going to focus on today. To put it in perspective, Canada's population is around 40 million. So between them, these platforms reach a large majority of the people that you serve. Your clients and prospects are on them every single day. So they're on LinkedIn during the day or at lunch. They're on Facebook probably in the evenings, and Instagram hopefully on the weekends, probably in between the day in little short snippets. And while they're on there, they're seeing the content from other advisors and other financial voices in the industry. The question shouldn't be whether social media is relevant to your business. It's whether you're the one showing up or if someone else is going to be there instead. So we'll start with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the professional network, and it's where you're positioning yourself as an expert in your field. The people here are in a professional mindset. So when they're scrolling, they're reading about the industry, they're paying attention to voices that they find credible. It's a different headspace than what users come into Facebook and Instagram with, and I'll kind of cover those in a moment. So what really works on LinkedIn is content that shows how you think. It's expertise, clear thinking, and credible. A short post explaining like a financial concept or a calm take on what's happening in the markets right now will mean a lot for the people viewing your content. The tone should feel like something professional that you'd say like at a networking event, not a sales pitch. So just expertise, sharing something worth knowing. If you're going to be active on one platform, for most advisors, LinkedIn is the one that they prioritize. And so it's where your credibility is built and where you build trust. Then we have Facebook. So Facebook has a completely different feel than LinkedIn. People are here for community and connection and for content that fits everyday life. So for you, this is where a lot of your established clients and their referral networks live. The 45 plus crowd is really active here, and they engage in content that feels really helpful and relatable. It's not technical or super formal. So content that's actually tied to like real life moments works well. So an infographics, say on like planning for retirement, or a short video on what to think about when you're having a baby. These are useful posts that they're going to gravitate towards, and the tone should be warm and conversational. So Facebook's where your clients actually also save content and forward and send. So it's a great referral mechanism as well for your current client base. And then Instagram is the most visual of all three, and it's where you find the younger, more lifestyle focused audience. This is where you're going to reach the next generation of clients before they've even started working with an advisor. So people in like their late 20s that are, or early 30s that are buying their first home, they're starting families, maybe they're navigating career changes. They have financial questions, but they don't know who to ask because they haven't developed that professional relationship yet in most cases. So if you show up with like clear visual content that speaks to where they are in their life, you're going to become a familiar, trustworthy voice, and they'll be able to reach out when there is an opportunity to work with you. So infographics work well here, short, very short educational videos, like under 10 seconds, and then relatable content. It's really about like stopping the scroll and making it visually appealing. So the most common question I get is, what do I actually post? So my answer is usually the same. It really depends on your business and your clients. And I'd say don't look at what other advisors are doing for ideas. Just look at your own calendar. So these three questions will hopefully help you never leave with like a blank page issue. So the first one is, what did your clients ask you about this week? Whatever your clients are confused about right now is exactly what your prospects are wondering about too. So if two clients asked about the same thing that this week, it's not a coincidence. That's definitely something you should be posting about. The second one is, what meetings do you have coming up? So if next week's full of like a mid-year review or planning meetings around education, post about something that's related to that. Again, if you're seeing people that are like pre-retirees, post about retirement income. Your upcoming meetings and your content calendar shouldn't be different. It's because those are the conversations seasonally you're having right now, and they're great for content online. And then the third one is, what topic do I find myself explaining over and over again? So if you're repeating the same explanation to every client, every new client that comes in, that means a lot of people don't understand it. So that's perfect for content. That's a great way to kind of show that you're going to be the one that can explain it to them in plain language and help them navigate it. So just try this habit if you're not already doing so. Ask yourself, like when you're creating your social media strategy, these three questions, and that will help you fill your content roadmap. Here's one thing I think that might make you feel a little bit better. I want to be here and say one post a week is enough. You don't need to be a content posting machine. You don't need to post daily or multiple times a day. One piece of educational content once a week done consistently will outperform bursts of activity. So if you said, I'm going to post every day this week, and you do that for 3 weeks and you're like, that was way too much to manage, and you stop, that's worse than just posting once a week ongoing. So what does the post look like? It should have 3 parts: an engaging caption that gives context, like a sentence or two that just talks about like why this topic matters and who it matters to. A simple visual. So again, like something really simple, broken down in a clear, educational way. And then a call to action. So the call to action doesn't always have to be like book a call. It could be save this for later, share it with someone who needs this, or something like reach out if you want to walk through this. So one post a week focused and educational is going to show that you're active online, which is the overall goal, is to show that you are a consistent voice. And just try that. Try sticking with that once a week. Pick a day, like say Wednesdays feel good for you. Just do that once a week and see for 3 months if that changes anything within your business, or even as your referrals come in, if they're noticing that change. So just to reinforce that, this was a study done by Sprout Social. Advisors who post once a week get 2 times the amount of reach compared to those who post randomly or every few months. And so when I say like more reach. I don't mean like viral numbers. I mean being seen by your audience, your clients, their friends, your network. One advisor that we have that uses Hey Advisor, he's a solo advisor out east. He did this. He took my advice. He started posting once a week and did it for 2 months. I believe it was 2 months straight. And so towards like the middle end of the 2 months, he actually got a call from one of his retired clients' sons. And they said, like, my dad keeps sending these to me, and I think it's really timely that we start talking. So it actually made it really easy for one of their clients to refer them because they just sent one of the posts that was a conversation they were having with their son. So one of the easiest ways to figure out what to post is to also think about what's happening in your clients' lives. Your clients aren't thinking about their finances every day. Nobody wakes up excited about asset allocation. So they're looking at the different life events, and that's what triggers planning. So whether it's buying a home, very timely right now, we're in home sales season. So buying a home or planning a move, career changes or business growth, starting a family or supporting aging parents, and then retirement planning or market uncertainty. There's a ton of different ones that you can kind of look to go, what are these major life events that are happening right now? And what are the content that I could post that kind of helps them through these times? So I want to show a couple examples just from the Hey Advisor library of pieces that I think are relevant that you could be sharing. So this one is term versus mortgage insurance. It's a very short video. It works well on all 3 platforms, so Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. It's a natural piece of content right now because it's probably something you're explaining to clients right now, given people are buying homes. It's like right in that season. So it's a genuinely helpful kind of positioning to share this and show that, like, you will be offered mortgage insurance, and we should talk about the disadvantages and the advantages of either options. Here's another one I think is great. So this one connects to almost every major life event. It talks, like, it's a really simple message. It's just saying, like, as your life changes, you need to look at reviewing your insurance. So what it does is it prompts a review, which is the kind of conversations you want to bring clients into you, because you're not telling them what to do. You're not selling at this point. You're saying, like, let's openly look at it, because if any of these things changed, it's time for us to do a review. And then one more is ways to fund like an RESP. So this is speaking to clients who are starting to invest, raising a family, having a baby. It lays out the common approaches that Canadians take when funding RESPs, a lump sum versus like annual. And so this is what a good piece of content looks like. It's useful, it's clear, and it's anchored to a moment that's relevant right now for your clients. So compliance is a concern I hear often, so I want to just quickly talk about that. The difference between content that is compliant and content that's not is, if you focus on the what and the why and not what to do, it's going to be structured in a way that is naturally compliant because it's educational. You're going to use ready-made reviewed content is also another way to be compliant. So with Hey Advisor, we work with some of the largest organizations in Canada. You can always reach out to me directly, and I can tell you if we already have a relationship with your organization. If not, I'm happy to have an introduction and get the content approved up front. So where to start this week? I'd say you're walking away, you're like, okay, this is great. Number 1, pick your main platform where your client's going to find you. 2, find a piece of content that fits with the conversations you've had this week. So are you talking about retirement planning mostly, or again, maybe it's about mortgage insurance? 3, you're going to share an engaging caption. So the Hey Advisor library has already done this part for you. But if you're sharing your own content, make sure you just keep it short and sweet and talk to like the why behind why they would find this interesting. And then schedule it or post it right there and then. You can use a scheduling tool like Hootsuite or Buffer are great. Or all the social media platforms have their own scheduling within. So LinkedIn is like directly in, and then with Facebook and Instagram, it's on Meta Business. So you can also schedule that way. So why does content feel harder than it should? These are the 4 kind of pain points that we hear the most when it comes to like a content strategy and posting to social media. So no time running a business, it's a full-time job. Content can often feel like a secondary one. You're not sure what to post. So the blank page problem is real. You sit down with good intentions, you open up LinkedIn and you freeze. So that is also very much an issue that we find advisors have. Compliance concerns, for sure, like the financial services industry in Canada is highly regulated. Advisors have a lot of fear around oversimplifying something or accidentally crossing into advice, and that stops a lot of advisors from kind of doing this. And then finally, content doesn't feel connected to real client work. So when client feels like marketing or something separate than the conversations you're having every day, it doesn't land as well, and it becomes an extra task on your plate. So I also think it's worth kind of mentioning what's happening on social media right now really quickly and how things have shifted. So I don't think this one's a surprise. Short form video is the fastest growing format on every platform. So it's like 20 seconds or less answering real questions. Educational content outperforms promotional. So nobody logs into social media hoping that they're going to be sold to. Everyone's happy to learn something and take something away from their experience. So posting educational content will do better. And then the third one's really interesting. It's been a bit of a shift. Your personal LinkedIn profile gets more reach than company pages. People want to hear from people. So use your personal page. It doesn't mean that there's not a place for company pages anymore. They can very much complement what you're doing and sharing on your personal, like LinkedIn, for example. And I love this one. Permission marketing turns strangers into friends and friends into loyal customers. So it's a simple line, but it captures this whole idea, and it's been around even longer than social media. Permission marketing is the opposite of interruption. So instead of pushing messages at people who didn't ask for them, you're earning the right to their attention by consistently offering something that's actually useful. So they choose to follow you, they choose to keep reading, and every time they make that choice, a little bit more trust builds. If you notice what it's not about, again, going viral. It's not about clever hooks and chasing all these engagement numbers. It's about earning a little more trust every week from the people who matter to your business. And I think that's a game changer when you start to like really think about your social strategy. It's different than a product where someone's going to see it on social and purchase right away. So if with all those pain points before, if the what do I post question is still bothering you, here's a free takeaway directly from like the Hey Advisor website. We've put together a content guide for you that has ideas month by month. It kind of puts each month into like a theme and then gives you some Hey Advisor content ideas you can share. You can also use it if you already have some content to kind of get some themes to start to build your social media presence. So I know I have a lot of like new to Hey Advisor people on the call today, so I'm just going to take a few moments going over like what is Hey Advisor. So I guess if you're like we're already thinking maybe this all sounds great, but I don't have time to create content. That's fair. That's why Hey Advisor's here. That's why we're in business. Content creation is a real skill and it's a real time commitment. And I know a lot of advisors I talk to would rather spend their time doing high value tasks and meeting with clients. So let me flip the question for you. What if everything was already written for me and created? What if it was already compliant? It already included your logos and all you had to do was pick it and share it. That's possible with Hey Advisor. So everything we talked about today, staying visible, the weekly calendar, compliance framework, all of it gets dramatically easier when you're not creating the content yourself. And that's what Hey Advisor is built for. We've branded compliance-friendly visuals. We make it really, really easy for you to share. And we've proven engagement from advisors across Canada. We've been in business just over 5 years now. So here's the actual workflow. So you come into Hey Advisor, you're going to choose a theme based on what's coming up. So using all that planning approach we talked about, answering those questions, then you're going to open up the Hey Advisor library. you're going to pick a piece that fits that. So you can use our search or our filtering capabilities to kind of pick the piece that works for you. And then that's the whole process. You share or send it, and that's done. Advisors I know before, when they were creating their own content or using it from variable, like different sources, took them a lot of time. And this has really systematized the amount of time that they're spending on social. And so our library is broken down into life events. So these are all the different life events that we cover, and you can really easily filter the content library by them. I know advisors that are using these as like social media campaign themes. They're sorting content on their website by these life ideas, email marketing. It's when money's in motion, it's when people are looking for help and professional advice. And so if you can hit them at these points, it's going to make a huge difference. So in Hey Advisor, we're an award-winning content platform built specifically for Canadian financial advisors and their clients. We have over 300 pieces in the library, which is, I think we're almost at 300. Did I say 350? I probably just said that out loud. We have almost 350 to date. It's all white labeled with your logo. So when you do our quick onboarding, you upload your logo and we apply that to the content and all the new content we add every single month. The library covers only things for Canadian clients. So it's things that Canadians care about. A lot of advisors that find us are currently using something that's based out of the US, and the content needs to be tweaked every time. They love that we're already built for Canadians and that we're Canadian owned and operated. New content is added every single month. So we add new pieces with email templates and social media captions every single month to make it really easy for you. So whether you're building a social media presence, you're sending us client follow-ups, or building it into a newsletter, everything's done for you and you don't have to write anything if you don't want to. So we do offer a free 14-day trial on our website. So you can scan the QR code or just go to our website. It's right on there, start a free trial. What I suggest for those 14 days, because 2 weeks can go really fast. Day one, set up your branding. So be prepared to just like upload your logo and put in your name. It's nothing really techy. It's really fast and easy. Then you're going to share a piece of content. So share it to like LinkedIn, for example, and just watch what happens. I'd also suggest sending a piece of content to a client like before or after a meeting, just to see as like a pre or post follow-up. And then browse the library and think of your clients. We have a new feature that's a favorites button, so you can actually heart the content pieces. So go through with your clients in mind and say, like, what are the pieces I would use today? And kind of go through the library that way. So that's everything from me. Before I open up for questions, I just want to remind you, like, showing up consistently doesn't require becoming a marketer. One educational piece per week anchored to conversations you're already having is enough to stay visible and support your referral strategy. And it's going to build trust with people who you haven't met, and those that are already your clients as well. So if creating content is a barrier, that part could be completely done for you by Hey Advisor. So I'm happy to answer any questions. You can also reach me at any time. So the one QR code is to like book a demo. You can start a free trial. Any questions, you're always welcome to, again, email me directly. I'm going to check the Q&A really quickly just to see. It looks like we have one question here, and it just says, where is it? Yeah. So it says, if you're posting to Facebook and LinkedIn, can you post the same content? Yeah, of course. I think that's what sometimes overcomplicates things, is that you think you need to be creative in each space. It's like, no, it shows consistency. It shows what you're good at, who you help. So posting the same piece of content to each is, I think, a really smart strategic move. Doesn't look like there's any other questions today. Again, if anyone thinks of any questions after, or you want to book a time with me, please do so. I really appreciate all of you being here today. Thanks again for attending, and we'll be in touch.